I also have the good fortune to introduce Larry Stern, who is the chair of the entire association. And before I read the canned stuff that I didn't write, I'll say that Larry is the guy who, I mean, everybody's gone through this in their professional lives. It's like, we have so many problems that I've run into that I just do not have any, there's no foreseeable way that we are going to solve what my problem is. It's just too huge. Larry's the analytical guy. I'd be like, we can fix that. And so it's great to have somebody like him who really has the smarts and the analysis and the way to communicate those things to really get you out of anything that's going on. And we've had conversations where I'm like, dang, Larry's smart and really analytical. So here's the canned stuff. Larry was born, no, I'm just kidding. Larry graduated from the University of Wisconsin-Madison with an accounting degree, worked for several years at a big 8 accounting firm in Chicago, then decided to pursue his law degree, so he moved to Dallas and got that from SMU Law. It's pretty impressive as itself. He's always been a huge supporter of NAED, and his first involvement was a member of the LEAD committee itself. Additionally, he served as the South Central Region Vice President, on the NAED board as a treasurer, and now, as the chair of the NAED Education and Research Foundation, and now our current chair, Larry Stern.
Well, good evening, everybody. So, Rocky, you were the last one between the drinks and the bar now, so I only got about an hour and a half worth of stuff. Is that okay? Can you hear me okay, by the way, without talking to Mike? Sorry. We'll go here. Okay. I am, to be honest, I'm really excited to be here this evening. I wasn't quite sure I was going to make it. I'm glad I'm behind the podium because I got stains on my shirt. My wife would really appreciate that. I lost a button on my jacket. And for the last like 4 or 5 hours, I've been trying to coordinate a long-distance move for my daughter in Portland. So I've gotten through all that. I think I'm okay now to talk. My first order of business before I get into some of the comments that I would like to make is to introduce a student with us. Our company actually is sponsoring him. His name is Nicholas Saleh. Nicholas, you're somewhere. Can you stand up a minute? He's an engineering student at Purdue. And he is hoping to meet individuals in the industry, get to know more about our industry, wants to learn more, and I'd appreciate anybody who takes the time to talk to him and meet with him and indoctrinate him into our business in the next couple of days. So the reason that I'm so excited to be here, and I was listening to the comments from Amanda and Rocky, and they're all great comments, and I was part of the LEAD organization before it was even called the LEAD organization. That's how old I'm starting to feel here. But way back when I started 27 years ago in the business, we were called YET, and it stood for Young Executives of Today. And there was a group of us on the committee at that time, me in particular. Maybe it's that analytical stuff you're talking about, Scott. I hated that term. I hated that term executive. I don't even know what an executive is. And so we as a group said we've got to blow this up and start it differently. I see Steve Van Brockler. I think he knows what I'm talking about here because he was coming in right after that. And we had a member of our committee. His name is David Rosen. He runs, he's a good friend electric in New Jersey. And the light bulb came off with him, and he said, we should call it LEAD, Leadership Enhancement and Development, acronym for that. And all of us on the committee said, wow, that's a great name. And we had a chairman at the time, just like Jason, and there was a large board of directors. It was like 40-some people on the NAD board of directors at that time, and she was our representative, and she was going to go to that group and tell them we're going to change the name of the organization because it really doesn't represent who we are and what we do anymore. So she went there, and we thought it was a done deal. She came back and said, well, I got some good news and some bad news. Good news, is that we now have this new conference. It's the LEAD conference, but we are still now yet. So, yeah, okay, great. So then years later, I'm on the board of directors, and I'm in that other position, and I'm talking to whoever some of Jason's predecessors are, and I'm saying, you know what, you got to change that name. And so the board gave them the direction that you're allowed to change the name now. You know, thinking, you know, LEAD's pretty good. So they come back and they say, okay, we have now changed the name. So yeah, what they did, they changed it to Your Emerging Talent. So it's still yet. So it never really changed. So it still had that same bad connotation. And by the way, I don't know if it was bad or not, but it was back then, it was like sons and daughters of bosses or owners, and it was a lot different kind of connotations. And that was all part of why I wanted to blow it up too. And I wanted to get rid of that whole acronym LEAD. I'm sorry, yet. So they didn't quite get there. And then at one point, I was still on the board on and off in different positions, as Scott had said, and I finally just gave up. And then literally, like, I don't know what it was, maybe it was 6 years ago now, and I'm back on the board, and whoever is the chairman at that time comes and say, we are now changing the organization to LEAD. So here we are today, and what we were trying to do 20 years so years ago is now what it is today. And getting back to that, to make a long story short, I think LEAD is what it's all about. Leadership Enhancement and Development. It has nothing to do with who you are or how you got in the business or not, but it's all about what others were saying about coming here and learning about leadership and how to become better at it. So myself, as Scott had said, I didn't really grow up working in the business. By the way, I feel so old. Does everyone even know what a Big 8 accounting firm was? I mean, I don't know what it is now. Maybe like a Big 4 or something or not. I don't think they have a Big 8 anymore. I'm pretty sure they don't. That's how long ago that was. But I didn't really. My family started this business in 1919 that I'm part of. I'm the third generation of my family in the business, but there were 17 stockholders, the second generation that my dad was part of for his whole career, and he didn't really know what was going to happen to the company when you have 17 owners, and so that's why I was a CPA for a while. That's why I went back. I was an attorney, and I moved back to Milwaukee, and I was practicing law in the mid-'80s, and that second generation was getting older, their 60s and 70s, and there really was not a plan of succession. None of the children of those 17 owners worked in the business at all, and so my firm and I, we helped go through the issues of succession when you're 60s and 70s. And I approached my dad and said, I really want to carry on this business to a third generation. I had worked in the business a few summers. I hung light fixtures in an old showroom and dusted them, and they probably hadn't been dusted in 50 years. But I didn't really grow up like some people working in the business. But I wanted to really get involved in carrying on a family business to a third generation. And so that was my impetus for getting in. And so I thought from that perspective, I was looking at, how I evolved with my leadership style to make our company a successful company. And that's really what I was asked to talk about. And I think it may have been partly from that background, that I didn't grow up working in every position and learning every nuance of the business. And so I had to learn from other individuals. And I think it was kind of fun actually sitting down and as I was traveling over the last couple of months and kind of putting my thoughts together for the comments for leadership and how that helps make a business successful. And it really makes you think hard about, what are we doing that you can actually say to others, that put into words that was what hopefully it was part of the reason that our company has been successful over the years. So let me start off with, there's a few key points. And I think the first one that I wanted to make really is that, to me, it's all about culture. I'm not the first one to say this, but I thought it was great words, and I'm going to steal it. And it's culture eats strategy. So you can have the greatest strategies in the world, but your competition, given enough time, is going to be able to recreate those strategies and those processes. What they can't necessarily do is recreate the culture that you create in your organization. So I think that really is what breeds success. And it starts initially, I think, with a vision that you have for your organization. So in our case, we developed a vision of the type of customer we want to grow with, and in our case, industrial and OEM customers. And we wanted to, how we wanted to do that with strong technical support, inventory, education, good people. And so that really was what formed our vision. And then from that, you ask yourself, what are your core values? What is it that you believe is most important to be successful in the vision that you have created? So in our case, there were 3 elements of that I espouse in meetings routinely in our organization. And we have a company-wide one every year, and I talk about it because I want to reinforce it to all our associates and new associates that come in regularly. One is having a positive attitude. I think it's extremely important for individuals to have positive attitudes. Second is to teamwork, to be working as a team towards a goal. And then last is focusing on exceeding the expectations of your customers and continuous improvement. And for us, those, I think, have been those core values that have helped us be successful in our vision. So when you look at then, how do you go about doing that? Number one way I believe is extremely important, and maybe it's not the right way to refer to it, but I would say creating a fun work environment. A work environment in which people enjoy wanting to be there and wanting to work and serve customers and do the best job they can. That starts with hiring great people to begin with. All the 140 plus people in this room, you know, the fact that you're here tells me that your companies believe you are great individuals that are going to be able to create that type of environment. But that's where it starts, with hiring those types of individuals, hiring those that enjoy working as a team, that want to serve customers, exceed their expectations, and probably most importantly, have a positive attitude every day. I mean, you have a choice every day of your attitude, and I've got a whole long saying on this. Again, I steal it from other sources, but the bottom line is you have a choice every day, and I believe that it's more about your attitude when you work than it is about your skills that you have. And so getting up every day with that positive attitude is extremely important. So you start off with hiring the right people. Then you have to give them, from the leader's perspective, the resources to make you successful. You know, whether that be, you know, good laptops, the speed of your computer system, the support with training. All those things are necessary to give those good people. And then you as the leader have to be responsive to them. In our case, in our organization, we have, I created an organizational chart years ago. And the top of the organizational chart is the customer. The bottom of the organizational chart is myself in that role. And my job is to support everyone else in the organization, to give them the resources they need to be successful. And that means you have to be responsive to their needs. In our company, by the way, we have one of my folks here, Dan Knapp. It's his first meeting at LEAD, and he's going to go back and probably tell everybody all these secrets that I'm telling him. So be careful, Dan. But no, hopefully what I'm saying, he'll reiterate it, is true, by the way. He's one of those great individuals, by the way. But so we work hard at promoting this type of fun culture. At my senior management team meetings that we have every single month, that is a topic of conversation of what we need to do as an organization to maintain that fun, positive environment. And we work hard every month at talking about, you know, where we've failed, where we have issues, what we have to do to get better at that. And when we talk about a fun environment, I mean, this isn't all part of it, but one of the things that we do is have fun events. Well, hopefully they're fun events. I mean, one of them, I do cookouts periodically in our Milwaukee office regularly. In fact, I just had one this week, and it didn't go quite so well. The grill, they forgot to fill up the gas, and so anyway, so they quickly ran out and got enough gas for it, and we were able to successfully have it. But so we have cookouts, we have Halloween costume judging contests, chili cook-offs, Christmas decorating contests. We celebrate Cinco de Mayo. We have company picnics, golf outings. I'm sure I could keep naming more, but these are just things that we try to do in order to create an environment that people enjoy working in. So you're hiring great people. You give them an environment that they should enjoy working in, and you give them the resources that they should be successful. And then last, you got to recognize and reward outstanding performance. So in our company, we do that in a number of ways. One way, I did not make this name up, but we refer to it as Larry's Loot. And it's just little wooden coins that every manager in our company is empowered to give out to any associates that work for them or don't work for them, whoever it might be, that they believe has done some type of outstanding job, to thank them. And this is our own internal monetary system that you can then use to buy merchandise, because everybody wants to buy electrical products. Or in addition to that, you can get gift cards. Thanks, Al, for laughing. You get gift cards to Target or Starbucks or what. If you accumulate enough, you can get a personal day off. So Larry's Loot works very well. It's a fun way to motivate people. We also give out different types of awards for, we refer to as gold medal customer service, and fellow associates have to nominate each other when they see somebody giving gold medal customer service. Same thing with attitude is everything. When they see somebody that has an outstanding attitude doing something, and they write it up and nominate them. And then we have, whenever customers, it used to be letters. Nobody writes letters anymore. But now emails, when somebody sends emails, and it's just thanking one of our associates for doing an outstanding job for them, and we recognize that with our Above and Beyond Award. So you can come up with all sorts of different ways to recognize and reward people, but I think that's important as the last step of creating that fun culture. So that's number one, I think, when you're looking at, from a leadership standpoint, how you create a successful company. The second way is creating in that environment that promotes continuous improvement. Like I was saying before, that's one of our core values. And so I always say, I got to tell this story very briefly, because it literally just happened to me 2 hours ago, and this is part of my daughter's move. But if I always say that if you do what you believe is in the best interests of our customer, you're never going to be wrong. Every new associate, I meet with them in our company, and I tell them that individually. Now, I might say, you may learn a different way or a better way later to do something, but as long as you're keeping the best interests of the customer in mind, and you're trying to fulfill their needs, and you know it's the right thing to do, you're never wrong. You have to allow for mistakes of individuals and accept those, and that's part of the learning process of becoming great in an organization. So in moving my daughter's stuff today, we had, it didn't go well, as I said, but it's done as of about 45, 50 minutes ago. She's on a 2-hour difference. So in any case, she had stuff at a storage unit that had to be, the movers had to go there and move it out, and we had to give it's a secure unit, so we had to give the unit permission to allow the movers to come in, and they said today we needed to give them the names, and I'm emailing the names to the storage unit, and then the movers changed because of issues at her apartment, and so there were new ones. I'm emailing them again, and I'm telling them when they're going to be there. I never hear a thing from the individual at the storage unit, but we had it all coordinated last week, thought it was all fine. And I get a call after they finally get there that the employee at the storage unit will not let these people in because they don't have photo IDs. But they've got all their names, they've got other identification. One guy actually has photo ID, but he wasn't accepting it for whatever reason. So I had to get on the phone to Jake. And Jake is over and over saying, I'm trying to work with you. But in the meantime, his trying to work with me is not allowing these people into the storage unit, and he's got no solution for me. And he keeps saying, I'm trying to work with you. And I'm 1,000 miles away. And the guys are standing there. I've given them the names. I'm on the phone with them. I mean, I'm telling them I'll absolve them of all liability. You got to be 99.9% sure that this is all legitimate. So I won't bore you with it. We finally got it done, you know, and he wouldn't let me. I said, is there anybody else to talk to? There's got to be somebody else to talk to. He said, no, it's just me, and I'm trying to work with you. And so in the end, we accomplished it, but it was not because of Jake's efforts. And my point of saying it is just what I'm talking about. He knew what was in my best interest. He knew it was the right thing to do. But you know, he said what really drove me crazy? And I told him I'm going to be standing up in front of this group this evening, and I'm going to be telling this story. He said, I'm sorry, that's our company policy. Oh, my God. I hope none of you ever stand behind so-called policy to not do what is right and in the best interest of the customer. So I won't dwell on that anymore. We also, maybe I will later over a drink if you want. But so other ways for continuous improvement. So we in the like 17 years ago, we became ISO 9000 certified company because we thought that was a good framework for continuous improvement. And through the process of people documenting what we refer to as opportunities for improvement, which are basically breakdowns in processes, we're able to see what goes wrong, and then we formally issue corrective action requests, and we look at root causes, and we decide how to fix whatever the problem is. And through that process, you're continuously improving. We also have a system of encouraging our associates to come up with suggestions. We call it our QUIP program, Continuous Improvement Process. What does that stand for, Dan? Quality improvement. I made that up. I couldn't even remember. Quality improvement prime. So and then we also have another one, which is for managers, which are continuous improvement process plans. Sorry. So, but what it is, it's just a way of recognizing people for coming up with suggestions to improve our business. And we get great ones every year. We have got 180 associates approximately, and last year we had over 160 suggestions coming from over 60 of our associates, a third of the company. That gives you an idea. So we've created that culture of continuous improvement through that. And then lastly, we try to encourage learning. So we have a full-time director of product learning. I think it was Amanda or one of you mentioned the online learning center with NAED and what a great tool is. I really appreciate that. My theme this year is making the most of your membership, and it's really getting people to recognize more of the tools and resources that NAED has, because I think there's really good ones, and I don't think we promote and advertise them well enough. So that's my advertisement for that here. But the online learning center, I agree, is tremendous. And the idea is to give your associates the knowledge they need to be successful in their jobs. And I think when you're hiring great people like I was talking about, it's not about their product knowledge. It's not about their industry knowledge. So frankly, we find when we're hiring people from within the industry, that's not necessarily any assurance of success. And in fact, we haven't done a good job sometimes when we hire people that have worked within the industry. So if we're finding great individuals that don't work in the industry, we have to give them the tools to be comfortable in their jobs. And that gives you then, you become more satisfied and more confident and more comfortable in your position by that learning. So you want to create a fun environment. You want to create an environment that is focused on continuous improvement. And then last, I think it's important to create an environment among leaders that people want to collaborate together, that they want to work with each other. It's the story you just said, Rocky. I mean, people wanting to work together. I mean, that's a really good story. I don't have any like that when I was a kid, but if everything is always constantly going up to the top of an organization, you're never going to have the time and resources to grow the organization. So you have to have the leaders within the organization working with other and collaborating with each other. So in our case, I actually eliminated this past year the number of direct reports to me to force that issue, so that there's less ability for them to go up to this person or lob something over the wall, and it forces them to work more with each other. And I think it's been working well. So those are what I believe helps create a successful company. Those are the leadership components that I think have helped us become successful. And just before I end, I thought it would be, and Rocky and Amanda touched on a little bit too, but just what I believe are traits of a good leader, and maybe kind of repeating what they had said too, but I think number one, and Rocky was kind of saying it, is be humble. It's not about the biggest personality in the room. And in my case, maybe it was just because I didn't know anything when I come to the business, so I needed to learn from other individuals, and I knew this much when I came in. Now I know maybe this much, but it's important to be humble, to promote and recognize the success of other individuals. And in the end, you'll be recognized. Your results will be recognized. It just will happen naturally. People know when a leader is doing a good job. So be humble. Another thing, develop good communication skills. It is unbelievably important, both written and oral communication skills, to have those well developed. I mean, you think back of how many times, as a result of miscommunication, lack of communication, incorrect communication, that things break down, things go wrong. But it's important for you to have those skills, both written and oral. And then always, besides having those good skills of talking to people or writing to other people, make sure, as was said too, you're listening to other individuals. I like what you said, Al, about it's not to respond, it's actually to understand, and that makes a lot of sense. Because those individuals who are working for you are in the best position to know their jobs. Learn from them and make sure you listen to them. And then two last things. One, and I think it was said too, but pay attention to detail. So I have it with me right now, so I don't know if you know what this is. This is not a smartphone or anything, this is an old daytimer that I write down and take notes in and everything. And that is my way of paying attention to the detail. I get ribbed all the time in our organization. Yes, I could use my iPhone and I could put it all in Outlook and all that good stuff. But this is my way of making sure I remember the details, I follow up on the details. Don't let the details slip by. And some people think I'm crazy too. When I talk about that, the details, one is good grammar. When you're sending out something that reflects you, I mean, I used to, when I came to the company, I'd been in law school, and I had some bad habits, at least some people thought they did. I was on our school's law review, and really all a law review is editing other people's work. You sit down and you read like 50-page articles that go into the school's law review. And so I got really good at editing and good grammar because it was just beaten into me. And so when I would look at materials that our company was putting out, marketing materials or letters or something to our customers, and I would nitpick little things, and I'd have my red pen out. It would drive people crazy with making changes with stuff. But that's paying attention to detail, good grammar. Another thing that drives me nuts when I'm in the office and I'm looking around here, I don't see any, but if I see like a light bulb or a lamp, as we call it in the industry, that's burnt out in an office, it just drives me nuts. It shows you're not paying attention to detail or that you really care about the organization. Those need to be replaced. Trash around the building. I'll walk around and I'll pick up, like you were saying, Rocky, picking up trash. I mean, so that's just setting a good example for other people, but it shows people that you're paying attention to the details. And then the last thing for the trait of a good leader is just my bottom line with everything: make sure you're having fun. In the end, you got to have fun at what you're doing. I like to think in our organization we have a lot of fun. We joke a lot, and we do get the job done, and we are successful. But if you're not having fun, then none of it's worth it. Well, thanks. I'm going to be around here all day tomorrow, and I would love to personally, anybody wants to talk to me or ask me any questions, just feel free, because that's why I'm here, besides just to learn too. Thanks.
Well, thank you again, Larry, Rocky, Manor, for the insightful comments. We certainly appreciate that tremendously. I do genuinely hope that all of you find things to take away from this conference you can apply in your work, in your life, whatever part of your life you can apply it to. And think about things tonight that maybe seem pretty simple, but talking about taking risks from Amanda, lead by example from Rocky, recognize your people, the communication skills, the details from Larry, Any of those hit home for you and make sense that maybe you need to take another risk in your career possibly? Think about those comments. They seem simple, but they're insightful, they're important. Maybe they apply to you. There's some of your takeaways from the conference possibly. Other than that, thanks for a great opening night. I appreciate the enthusiasm, the energy. Please bring what I saw in the reception tomorrow morning for enthusiasm and excitement. And have a great night. I appreciate it. Thanks, you guys.